guess I'm recording. 3, 2, 4, 1. So, the latest, I'm on my way now to practice. So I put the guitars together, the 5 strings, they're fucking killing it. They sound so good. The only downfall is they don't have a whammy bar, because I can't find a bridge that'll work with that. It's gonna have to get custom made for it. Someone's gonna have to custom make it, machine it to a 5-string bridge, and that's a way out. So, but other than that, man, the telly that I got, that Renson, is killer. It's the 59 I got it. I think it's at 59 that Seymour Duncan just, oh my God, it sounds so good. And I remember playing a Vox one time, amp, usually not a Vox guy, but I played a Vox one time once when I was looking for a cheap amp. I was like, oh, that's all right. It was many years ago. So then I just looked online and got, found a little cheap 40 watt Vox amp, and I got it, for $100 or something on Craigslist, on Craigslist. And man, it sounds great. It's got this compression and this tone. It sounds really good for practice. So I'm stoked about that. So the next step is, my songs are coming together pretty good. I really kind of have a vision for what it is I want to do, and lyrically and all that kind of stuff. And I'm playing pretty good. It's hard, man. It's really hard. It's hard to work 40 hours or 50 hours a week, and then take care of your house, and try to pick up the guitar and play. It's just such a different mindset that you just can't switch it back and forth sometimes. And I've never been very good at it, so I always struggle with it. I think the ideal thing to do would be like practice scales and turn it into some sort of structured, like workout, where you don't really have to access the art side of your brain. You can just at least put in the time. But that kind of gets monotonous, and I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't make excuses, because it's completely me. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. It just, art just is hard to fit in the home life. I don't know why. Anyway, that being said, so now I'm trying to put together a project to make a record. Got some killer tunes. My whole gear setup is smoking hot. Lyrically, I think I found a good direction. I gotta keep it simple. I gotta keep it where I can, try to sing it. I'm not a really good singer, so I can't just be all, go off on some sort of giant lyrical, freaking mission or something like that, and put myself in a hole where I'm forcing the vocals. You gotta. It has to be natural sounding. It has to come out, relaxed. And so I got to keep it really simple. I got to keep the melodies really simple. I got to keep the range really simple in a specific location. So that's been a little mission, but I think I figured it out. I'm pretty happy with it. The next thing is finding a band, and players, and that, man, me personally, rhythm is so critical, and it's so subtle, the difference between what is just working and kicks ass and what doesn't. And that's just me personally. Machines can put out a lot of stuff, and it can sound great, and and you don't really notice it until you really kind of start to notice it. And a big example, I think, is Bonham. It's why Bonham's the best. It's that his ability to kind of stretch that space between quarter notes. No one can do it. It's almost like he's from another planet. It's almost like this weird anomaly, physics anomaly, where he can slow down each quarter note, but the end result isn't slowed down. So it creates this huge tension constantly, and this heaviness that nobody else can match it. And you could write the beats that he's doing. You can get guys to play the same beats. You can do everything you can, but it's not the same. It's only him. And there's a lot of guys like that, where it's only him that has that fingerprint, that unique fingerprint on rhythm. So when I write, I hear a unique fingerprint in my music, and it's really, really hard to find guys that can match that. So the options are, you find guys that you like, that you can get along with, that will be willing to play on the cheap, that'll show up when you want to, that have good attitudes, that understand the format and the harmonic structure of what you're trying to do, and the options available, and that have the rhythm that you wrote the songs with. And man, that is not an easy task. So you're faced with, okay, well, I got these guys, I really like them, they kick ass in this certain areas of songwriting or of playing, so now I'm gonna structure the tunes and structure the project to go with this band. And that's not a bad thing, but that takes a lot of time. You got to find guys, because you're going to write these songs and they're not going to come out as you imagine them in your imagination, because you got other guys playing them. Until you become like this entity, until you've played together long enough where now you're writing for this entity, you're writing for this band, you're not writing for your own imagination. So that's really tough. And I got kind of a band like that. Of course, nobody lives here and nobody can get together and play, so it's like doing that route is Jesus, man, it's a mission. That route's a mission, because you got to put the time in order to develop that new fingerprint. So that's a mission. So then the other option is, well, let's find guys where I live. I know a couple guys in other cities that smoke, and I've played with before enough times where it's like, yeah, that's really, really, really close to what I'm looking for, and I could put those guys together and go make a record with relative ease. The price is going to be higher because these guys are pros, and logistically it's going to be a pain in the ass because they all live in different cities across the country. So fuck. So then you got that. So then, okay, we'll find local guys where you live. Oh, I don't go out at night. I go to bed at fucking 8:30 every night. I don't go out. I don't know anyone in town. I've never played music in the town that I live in. Excuses again. When you say, yeah, we'll just start going out, but again, it's part of the dynamic that's hard to mix that art music life into your home life. Well, anyway, so now how do you do that? I just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It's like going on dates or something. It's like, nah, in the first, when I set up a time, get a guy, hey dude, how's it going? Let's get together, let's jam, go down here, jam with the guy, get it, pull his instrument out. It's like a date. You sit down at that table and you look across, in 30 seconds, man, I don't even want to be here. Whatever. I don't really like this girl. I don't want to be here. It's the same way. You sit down with a guy, you start playing, he can get 3 notes out of his instrument, and you'd be like, this guy might be smoking fucking hot, he might be really good, and then a pro, and played with da-da-da-da-da-da, but he ain't going the direction that I'm looking at. And you can tell in 10 seconds. And really, the odds are, it's going to take 10 guys but to find somebody. Well, it might not. You might get lucky and find it on the first try. I don't know. Jeez. Anyway, that's the third thing. So you find a band at home. Now the fourth option, or the third option, whatever option I was on, the third option is do everything myself. And I'm seriously thinking that. I almost have the map down of how I would do it. Play the drums, play bass, just fuck it, play everything myself. My practice time's better. Now all I gotta do is just go into, little bass technique. Here's the glitch with that. Is technology good enough, and the guy working the engineer good enough to make up for my shortcomings and make it sound like a legit record? That is a big one. Or am I going to sound like an amateur? Am I good enough to put down, theoretically, if I could put down a phrase, if I can catch the rhythm that I'm looking for on drums, if I can catch it, I don't have to catch it for the whole song. If I can catch it for a phrase, then we can loop it. If I can catch it for certain periods of time, then we can loop it. Now the question is, when you start looping stuff, I don't know. I don't have enough experience doing that. Is it going to start to sound like a rap record? Is it going to start to sound like, some techno record? Or is it going to still sound like a rock record? I don't, that's kind of scary. So I don't know about that. Bass, man, again, I've tried playing bass the other day, and with my finger that's fucked, I really can't reach and play the bass. I got to play it with 2 fingers, the index finger and the pinky. That's how I got to play the bass licks. Now I can kind of do that, and I'm kind of stoked on it because I'll play the bass licks that fit with the guitar parts that I'm playing. So that's kind of cool. But my technique on the bass is not very good. So can we make up for that technique in the studio, or do I stick an octaver on my guitar and play the bass from the guitar? I don't know. Those are all things I don't know what to do. Right now, because I feel better in the morning, I book a rehearsal studio time from 9 to 11 downtown, so I'm on my way to practice and just to play and go. But so I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm going now, and I don't know which direction I'm going to go in. There are 3 different directions. Up to now, they're all the same direction. You got to learn the tunes, you got to get the lyrics, you got to get the arrangements, you got to know what you're going to do, you got to be able to play it live, make something that you can kind of put a band together, because you're going for that. So up to now, I got that. Now I got a path, 3 different paths. I play with guys that, that kind of know the music, but it's really a different band. And we're going to need to play together a shitload more than their guys are willing to do. Other guys hire guys to come out and put that together, or do I do everything myself? And now I'm at that crossroad. We'll see.